What's up? It's your boy, one and only. And yeah, guys, today I am back with another series which is gonna be what if Naruto was trained by Kurama for the chunin exam. So yeah, guys, hopefully you guys enjoy this, you can say, part as well. And yeah, guys, if you guys are new to this channel and if you guys have not subscribed yet, please guys do so. It will help me a lot. And yeah, guys, for the next part, the like goal is gonna be 100 likes and 50 comments. Do that and I shall upload the next part of this series as quick as possible. So yeah, guys, hopefully you guys enjoy it. So without any further ado, let's start the video. As I'm gonna start my video with after the preliminary exams ended, as Naruto was running towards the hospital. As Naruto finally arrived to see that how you can say the hospital was such as the same as people were still looking towards him in the same manner. As Naruto simply sighed. To be honest, he really hated the hospitals, but at the moment it simply cannot be helped. So he decided to ask where Sasuke actually was, though the you can say situation was not looking so good for him, as the you can say nurse declined to tell him where their Uchiha prince was actually. As Naruto simply sighed, this attitude was really getting on his nerve, while on the other hand finally Kakashi arrived and the whole discussion started to begin. As Naruto looked towards Kakashi sensei, I have a huge favor to ask you. As but before he could say anything, as Kakashi speak up, well, stop right there Naruto. I know that what you're gonna say, but it is unfortunate, but that I cannot train you for the Chunin exams. I have some other things to deal with. As Naruto looked towards Kakashi with a narrow gaze. Well, contrary to many beliefs, Naruto is not that stupid. True, he is a bit slow to you can say grasp things. Seeing that the you can say crush that Hinata had on him, he still did not knew, but he was still you can say quite observant. After all, his life is not that great, so he had to be always on his you can say guard. As he you can say looked towards Kakashi, and what do you mean by that, Kakashi sensei? As Kakashi said, well Naruto, I have some you can say things to take care of. As Naruto narrowed his eyes, do you mean by things to training of Sasuke, right? As Kakashi simply chuckled as he said, well, it seems that I'm caught, huh? Well Naruto, don't worry about it. I have already you can say appointed a special teacher for you who is even better at teaching than me. As Naruto narrowed his eyes but decided to give his sensei the benefit of the doubt as he speak up, oh really now? And who is this sensei you're talking about? And that would be me, as Ebisu speak up. As Naruto looked towards, you can say, Ebisu and then towards Kakashi as Kakashi speak up, well Naruto, you need to work on your basics, and Ebisu here is the best teacher that can actually help you to improve your basics. As Naruto narrowed his eyes towards Kakashi, he did not like that. He looked towards Ebisu. This person clearly did not like him in the beginning, so there was little chance that he is gonna being taught anything useful. As Naruto simply looked towards Kakashi with you can say a blank look, which surprises Kakashi a little bit. As Naruto started to walk past, as Ebisu said, hey, I'm still here, you know. As Naruto looked towards him, well, I thank you for your, you can say, services, but these are not required. And after saying that, he, you can say, disappeared in a sunshine, which surprises Kakashi, wondering how is that even possible for Naruto to know sunshine. After all, he did not taught him anything like that. As Ebisu raised an eyebrow towards Kakashi, as Kakashi simply shook his head, why don't you follow him? As Ebisu nodded at that, while Kakashi simply shook his head. He has some training plans to make to teach his prize student Sasuke to you can say how to become even stronger and maybe even teach him his prize technique. Well, that would be a great idea, right? As he thought that in his mind. And after that, he started to walk away to you can say how his prize student was actually doing, while Naruto was in the you can say far in the training. To be honest, he's not that stupid, but still, he's not, you can say, that much of a genius as well. He was able to learn Sunshine because he wanted to do a lot of pranks and things like that, and it took him at least 3 months, and after a lot of crashing around into the trees, he was able to do it to short distances, though he never used it in front of many people so that his secret would be kept, but it seemed that now it was found out. But to be honest, this is just a D-rank technique. Who cares if you can say a genin know a D-rank technique, though not many genins know about it. But alas, as he started to punch the training ground, he needed a training, damn it. He wanted to beat Neji in the chunin exam, and now his own sensei has refused the training just because he wanted to teach the Uchiha princess. As Naruto simply scoffed that Sasuke is always getting whatever he wanted, and now he has even gotten the training, and his own sensei has abandoned him, trying to, you can say, send him off to, you can say, a special Jonin who's not even that strong and does not know many techniques, as well as who clearly did not like him in the first place. As Naruto sighed as he was still punching the training, you can say, field, and trying to, you can say, release his frustration. He needed a sensei he can train on his own. But to be honest, he has been training for, you can say, a long time on his own, and he has not improved that much. He needed a teacher. Under the guidance of a teacher, he can actually improve a lot. As Naruto simply sighed after releasing his frustration on the training pole, as Naruto simply sighed and started to, you can say, slump down a little, but then he suddenly, you can say, closes his eyes, and the next moment he was standing in a, you can say, strange, you can say, sword. As he started to look around, wondering where he actually was, he clearly remembered that he was, you can say, in a training field. And this sword does not look like Konoha's sword, and trust him, he knows that how they actually look alike. As Naruto started to walk towards a specific direction, some, you can say, a feeling inside of him was telling him that there was something for him there. So he started to walk towards it, and he finally arrived to the, you can say, whole place, and look forward to see, you can say, two gigantic gates were simply looking towards him. Naruto innocently, though Naruto knew something that, you can say, those gates had, you can say, strange feeling towards Naruto, and then he was quite true when two gigantic red eyes suddenly opened, as looking down towards him. As Naruto gulped a little, and then suddenly it quickly made sense as the figure started to step in the light a little bit, as nine tails flowing behind the figure. As Naruto quickly realized who this guy actually was, as he speak up only one word, QB. As QB looked towards Naruto with an unimpressed look, as he said, so you are my container, huh? Well, to be honest, I'm disappointed. As Naruto was taken aback from it, as he said, hey, what do you mean by that? As QB simply yawned, as he said, I have been awoken after such a long time, huh? It has been at least 13 years since I was sealed inside of you, and was at, you can say, on my slumber. And I have already gone through your memories. It seemed that you were able to access a bit of my chakra unconsciously. Well, thanks to this seal, because I was not the one who gave you that chakra on my own. As Naruto quickly, you can say, remembered the battle which he had against Haku, as Kyuubi simply looked towards him. Well, it seems that my luck is pretty bad, huh? Being sealed someone inside of someone like you, and to think that you're the one in the world who is representing myself. Pathetic. As Naruto narrowed his eyes towards him as he greeted his state. And what do you know, you stupid fox? Because of you, my life has been the way it is. As Kyuubi simply yawned as he said, and you really believe that you're the only person in the world who has it bad, huh? Well, grow up, kid. All of them, you can say, in this is the shinobi world, even a stale beast has it pretty bad. And how do you like to seal away for a century without any say and being pinned down by, you can say, chains, and your only, you can say, fault was that you were too strong in their eyes and you simply were not to be controlled by their means, as Naruto was taken aback from it. Being sealed away and, you can say, pinned down by chains was really bad of a feeling in Naruto's gut, but he simply shook his head. Why have you summoned me here? Clearly, I have not entered here on my own accord. As Kyuubi simply nodded, well, at least you're not as stupid as your memory suggests, or your whole act suggests. As Naruto simply scoffed at that. What do you want? As Kyuubi simply chuckled as he said, well, what I want is pretty clear, kid. Above all else, I want my freedom, but it seems that it is not gonna be granted anytime soon. Seeing that this seal is pretty powerful, it would take a lot of my time to break it. But then again, I do not have that much time. Your life will end a lot quicker as the way you actually are. As Naruto greeted his state, and what do you mean by that? As Kyuubi simply looked towards him, you're weak. That is simple and straight. You do not have any, you can say, useful jutsu other than that shadow clone technique, which you do not even know how to use it properly. Other than that, what do you have, huh? Those normal D rank techniques which never will save you. Well, Not that much, but in a higher battle, you're never gonna survive by using only those. And on top of that, you're gonna fight the Hyuga prodigy. And it seems that my brother, One Tail Jinchuriki, is also here, who has pretty decent control over his Biju, huh? Well, it seems that you're pretty crushed. And I, the Cubino Kitsune, the strongest of the Bijus, is not gonna defeat it by my weakest of the brothers Ichibi, Shikaku. As Naruto certainly remember Gara. As I said, wait a minute, that Gara kid, he has a Biju still inside of him as well. As Kyubi simply nodded at that, well, the weakest of the Bijus, to be exact, but still pretty powerful by using his, you can say, sand. He can easily take on many shinobis, and especially in a desert, he's a force to reckon with. As Naruto simply nodded at that. So, guess what? I do not want a weak container. After all, you're the one who is representing me in the human world. So, I'm gonna train you to become at least strong enough to not embarrass me, especially not in front of my weakest of the brothers. As Naruto was taken aback from it. But then, it was a great opportunity. There was no sensei which he could be taught. And on top of that, the QB seemed to be pretty powerful. As I said, wait a minute, do you know any jutsus or anything like that? Because but before he could say anything, SQB started to laugh. Trust me, kid. I am an ancient being. I have lived thousands of years. I have created multiple jutsus. On top of that, I know, you can say, thousands of jutsu, more than even that copycat ninja, your sensei of yours. As I have created at least, you can say, 10,000 or 20,000. Well, it could always be 50,000 jutsus. As Naruto's mouth was at, you can say, at gap as he looked towards Kyuubi, knowing 50,000 jutsu was really something else, as he had star in his eyes as Kyuubi simply chuckled as he said, but as he had a serious, you can say, air around him, my training is gonna be hard, it is gonna be, you can say, tough, and you can say, you are gonna cry after the training, trust me on that. As Naruto simply gulped a little. You know what? I'm Naruto Uzumaki and I'm gonna be Hokage, so bring it on. As Kyuubi simply chuckled as he said, well then. Why don't you go outside? But before that, release a bit of that seed. You can see, tore apart, you can say, a small section of that seal so that I can make a connection to your mind and we can talk outside. As Naruto looked towards Kyuubi, you can say a bit cautious but nodded nonetheless, as he, you can say, put off a small piece of the, you can say, whole seal, and he could feel a bit of connection already forming in his head as he nodded towards Kyuubi, who simply scoffed, and you can say Naruto closes his eyes as he was already outside of the world, as for a moment he thought that it was all a dream. Well then, brat, why don't we start the training, shall we? As Naruto blinked a little as he said, what? That was not a dream? As Kyuubi simply chuckled as he said, we do not have time to waste. Brat, you have 1 month, and in this time, trust me when I say it, you're gonna have a lot of jutsus to work with. As Naruto had stars in his eyes as he said, alright then, bring it. As Kyuubi simply smirked as he said, well then, first of all, we are gonna work on bit of your chakra control. Well, after today, you will have, you can say, more chakra control than you had ever in your life. So, give me 1,000 shadow clones if you can actually make them. And Naruto simply smirked, well, bring it on, as he made 1,000 shadow clones, but then he blinked as he said, wait a minute, why do I need shadow clones? As Kyuubi simply smirked, and then suddenly Naruto found a bit of information in his head as he blinked a little. What? As there was the information about the Shadow Clone Chuso, how the theory of the Shadow Clone and how it was actually made. As QB said, well, I can waste my time by giving you, you can say, a lecture how the Shadow Clone actually work and the Jutsu theory, but it is much easy due to the connection. I can easily send the theory and the mechanism of the Jutsu clearly into your mind, and before you ask, no, I cannot send the knowledge of my Jutsu, though I have to guide you properly for that. As Naruto blinked a little but nodded nonetheless, since he already knew the Shadow Clone, so knowing the theory would also help. And now he has the information, but he gritted his teeth. Kakashi sensei should have, you can say, taught him about that prospect of the Shadow Clone. He was using too many Shadow Clones, so it must be the reason why he was not getting much memories to save the backlash or something like that. But to be honest, it does not matter anymore as he simply smirked as QB said, alright, send 300 of them to walk on trees and other 700 come with me. As Naruto simply nodded and started to follow to a, you can say, a river. As QB said, alright, so here's the information. As we send it to the mind of Naruto, the theory why the water walking is all that. So you already have the knowledge in your mind, but I will say it once again. Water walking is the next, you can say, level of the chakra control. It will help you to, you can say, for this. It is same as tree walking, but you have to fluctuate your chakra beneath your feet and it will help you to walk on water. As Naruto simply nodded and most of his shadow clone started to work. As QB speak up, alright, you come out of water, we have some other things to deal with. As Naruto simply nodded, as QB said, alright, I'm gonna push a bit of my chakra into your chakra system. This will give you a higher fire affinity. Since I'm a Kitsune and my abilities mainly consist of fire, well, it is not like I have not created, you can say, jutsus for other affinities, but I like fire personally. So even though your main affinity is wind, but and before you ask, it's, you can say, a bit of information once again hits Naruto's head as Naruto quickly realized the knowledge about chakra affinities and things like that. As he blinked a little, it's quite weird. As Kyuubi simply shrugged, well, not my problem. I want to do these things as quick as possible. After all, we have only 1 month to learn at least 100 jutsus. As Naruto blinked a little, what? 100 jutsus? As then suddenly stars were in his eyes as he said, you know what? I'm ready about it. Bring it on. As Kyuubi simply chuckled as he said, well then, you asked for it. As suddenly a bit of Naruto's body started to burn from inside. He started, you can say, about to scream, but he bit down on his lip trying to stop the scream. But it was for a moment and after that his body was normal once again. As Naruto blinked a little, is it done? As QB simply smirked, well then, congratulations, you have two high affinities. First one is wind and second one is fire and both of them, you can say, complement each other a lot. As Naruto simply smiled at that, the knowledge about the, you can say, whole 5 chakra nature, which is stronger and which is weaker, is already in his mind. So he simply smiled at the thought as he said, alright then QB sensei, I'm ready. As QB simply smirked, well then, I will start to teach you the low level technique, but we have to work on your, you can say, taijutsu, and this technique is gonna help you in your taijutsu a lot. So close your eyes and start to focus your chakra around your body, and I will, you can say, assist you in this manner so that you do not burn your body around. As Naruto simply nodded and started to close his eyes, his chakra results were already up to, you can say, full thanks to the help of QB. As QB started to push his chakra into Naruto's body, and as well as Naruto was, you can say, looking towards his chakra, which was not obeying him and obeying QB's command. As Naruto could feel chakra concentration in his hand, which was started to get, you can say, hotter and hotter, and a dome of, you can say, fire started to surround his body. And Naruto suddenly opened his eyes, the chakra dispersed. As Naruto could, you can say, look towards his hand, who seems to be on fire. He was about to scream, but then Kyuubi stopped him. Shut up, you're not feeling hurt. Just look towards your hand. As Naruto blinked a little, as he saw that his whole hands were surrounded by fire. As he, you can say, put his hand into the air and the fire increases even more. As he said, whoa. As QB simply smirked, well, it is a form of the Kitsune Taijutsu style, but you will be unable to learn it completely, but I will teach you the basics of it in the beginning. But anyways, this will help you, all of your body part. If someone were to hit you using Taijutsu, their body will have a nasty burns. Don't worry, your clothes are being, you can say, laced with chakra, and they are also pretty, you can say, hot for anyone, though they will not burn out, so don't worry about it. As Naruto simply blinked and nodded nonetheless, and whenever you will hit someone, they will have nasty burns, and if you are able to master the higher level of it, you can actually burn them with this technique as well. So it is pretty powerful, so use it with cautious, and do not use it against your allies. As Naruto simply nodded at that. To be honest, I do not care, but you will have a lot of trouble in your village. As Naruto simply blinked and but smiled nonetheless as he said, you know what, QB sensei? This is gonna be fun. as both QB and Naruto had you can say similar foxy grins on their faces as QB thought it in his mind, well, at least I'm not gonna lose to my weakling of a brother. Well, see ya, as he simply shrugged as Naruto started to practice his taijutsu style as QB has already sent some images about the taijutsu stand in Naruto's mind as well as some exercises as well as guiding him nonetheless to how to perform the technique because he simply can see Naruto's body as well as the image and guided as so it was pretty easy for him. So the whole training has finally begun. So now after 15 days, as Naruto was panting hard on the ground, he has just released, you can say, practicing a pretty high level technique. As QB speak up, you're already exhausted, there's no point of using, you can say, that technique anymore. You should take a rest. As Naruto pant a little, I want to try it one more time, QB sensei. As QB simply shrugged, well, he has to give it to the kid, he's pretty determined. As you can say, Naruto finally stood up and started to cross his, you can say, arms together as Chakra started to surround his body. As Naruto started to concentrate as a small dome of fire energy started to surround him as Kyuubi narrowed his eyes. As suddenly Naruto released the chakra as a dome of fire energy started to surround the around, you can say, area at least for 100-meter whole area, and the forest was burned to the ground as Naruto simply smacked. I did it. As Kyuubi simply was impressed. Actually, this technique is pretty powerful and Naruto has only used it to its, you can say, fraction, but his body simply cannot take it above. Or even if it were to be taken, it will not be able to use to his full, you can say, capacity unless Naruto grow at least to the age of 16 or 15. He would not be able to use this technique to his full potential, but then again, it was still pretty impressive to go to have 100-meter. As QB simply smiled as he said, well, that was impressive if I must say. Well, comparing to your human standards, of course. As Naruto simply chuckled. In this time, he has, you can say, get to know QB a little. It seemed that he has pretty, you can say, sarcastic about it. But there was something wrong as he finally arrived in his mindscape. As he looked towards QB, who was yawning once again, and looked towards Naruto as he said, what do you want, kid? As Naruto looked towards him, I wanted to ask you something. I have always heard that you are, you can say, a mass of hatred, and your hatred is so much that you can actually, you can say, do things you or any other person will not even think about it. But clearly, you have a mind, and you can say, you have emotions of your own. As Cuban narrowed his eyes on that statement, but then again, so why do people always say that? And why are you not, you can say, a mass of anger and things like that? As QB simply looked towards him as he said, well, you would be correct partially, of course. You see that I am not full QB. As Naruto looked towards him, what do you mean by that? As QB started to explain, well, you see that the Yandaime Hokage split my power and my mind and my consciousness into two halves, yin and yang half, and he took away the yang half which contained most of my, you can say, hatred and you can say those type of thoughts with him, while I, the yin half, is not that bad or compared to that one, if you like to say that, but still, do not be mistaken, I'm still as powerful as my other half even without my hatred. And if you want, I can always, you can say, be angry if you so desire. As he simply chuckled at that, you can say, statement, as Naruto looked towards him, this does make a lot of sense. Having, you can say, a QB whose hatred has been extracted from his body must be really great. As he thought it for some time but nodded nonetheless, this does make sense. So that's the reason is QB good. Well, not exactly good because trust me, when it comes to training, he's pretty ruthless. As he simply chuckled as he said, well then, QB sensei, I will see you around then. As after saying that, he vanished from the area as QB simply chuckled. And now we have, you can say, a bit of time skip as 5 days has already, you can say, left as Naruto was training in the forest of death at the opposite side of the tower where not even Uncle Mitarashi would come. And Luckily for Naruto, Anko has been given several missions to, you can say, take care of things, so she will not be coming to the forest of that anytime soon. And Naruto was practicing in the area thanks to the presence of Kyuubi known in Naruto. The animals were, you can say, avoiding him, knowing the danger he actually poses to them. So it was pretty easy for Naruto. As Naruto simply nodded at that as he said, well, it would be great if this ability came handy in the chunin exam. As QB simply shrugged, I was sleeping, huh? As Naruto simply nodded. As the whole training was going on, while on the other hand, in the village, Jiraiya was simply, you can say, standing in front of the third Hokage. Well, I'm out of it. I was unable to find the kid. He's not in the village or any of the training grounds. As Hiruzen thought it for some time. Have you seen the forest of that, Jiraiya? As Jiraiya simply shook his head. Well, I don't think that it matters anymore. Only 5 days has left, and I don't think that I would be able to train him in that manner. But maybe we shall meet after the, you can say, whole, you can say, Chunin exam ended. As Hiruzen sighed, he wanted Naruto to train with Jiraiya after he heard that how Kakashi has left with, you can say, Sasuke after 5 days of training. And Jiraiya, being his lazy self, did not even try to approach Naruto, thinking that he would, you can say, meet the kid in old fashioned way by mistake or something like that. And he waited for 10 days, but Hiruzen knew that the Jiraiya must be doing his so-called research, and that must be the reason. 15 days wasted, and in these 10 days Jiraiya was not even, you can say, looking for the kid that much, and only, you can say, doing his stupid research. As Hiruzen sighed, well then, Naruto is on his own in this manner. If he is in the forest of that or in some other area, and to be honest, he has a lot on his plate to, you can say, worry about those things. So both of them were not looking that seriously because Orochimaru was in the village. So they have many other things to deal with, not caring about, you can say, a kid who has gone missing and who would definitely arrive back in the, you can say, Chunin exam. So what's the harm? So, as they finally, you can say, time passes, as finally, you can say, 30 days has passed, as Naruto looked towards Kyuubi with a smirk on his face, as Kyuubi simply nodded at that. Kyuubi taught him at least 4 to 3 jutsus in a single day, and with the help of Shadow Clone, it was not even that hard. After all, he has learned a Kin Jutsu in just 2 to 3 hours. What are these techniques when he has high affinity of the fire in himself, as well as some, you can say, at least 5 wind jutsus as well, which are mostly, you can say, complementary to his fire. As Naruto simply looked towards Kyuubi as he said, well, it seems that my training has finally came to an end, huh, Kyuubi-sensei? As Kyuubi simply nodded, well, remember this, kid, I've only taught you this because you represent me. And do not be, you can say, beaten, especially by that, you can say, especially by that accursed Uchiha, as well as that, you can say, my little brother. After all, I have some honor as the still the strongest of the Biju, the king of the Bijus. As Naruto simply chuckled, as Kyuubi simply, you can say, looked towards him and growled a little. Did I say something funny? As Naruto simply shook his head, you can say, vigorously, as he said, alright, I'll be leaving. As he speaker, before you leave, change that monstrosity. I have already tolerated it enough. Trust me, I would have burnt it down if I did not knew that you do not have any more clothes, so change that orange color. As Naruto simply chuckled, well, you know, the orange is the best. But before Kyuubi could, you can say, slam his tails on him, as Naruto simply vanished from the mindscape. But he simply nodded nonetheless to change his, you can say, clothes a little bit, of course. But then again, he's not gonna leave orange to, you can say, rot away in some, you can say, corner. After all, orange is legendary and the best, of course. And now let us cut back to, you can say, the Chunin exam stadium in which all the participants were already present and the things like that. And the whole, you can say, thing, all the, you can say, cages, and especially Orochimaru, who has been disguised as a Kazekage, was there, as well as the Hokage, while on the other hand Jiraiya was looking forward to see his godson, even though he has not, you can say, put that much effort to find Naruto. And when the days started to pass, he thought that it would not be a great idea to, you can say, start teaching him afterward. After all, the kid must have needed, you can say, a bit of, you can say, rest after whatever training he has actually done. But to be honest, he does not have that much hope in Naruto's passing. After all, he has seen the, you can say, reports from the academy, and Hiruzen had told him that how, you can say, Kakashi was showing a bit of favoritism to Sasuke. But when Jiraiya confronted him, flashback, as Hiruzen sighed as he gave him the reports, as Jiraiya whistled a little. Well, these are even better than mine own. And Hiruzen simply nodded as he said, yeah, your reports were pretty bad, but these are even worse. As Jiraiya simply nodded, but then he blinked. Hey, I was not that bad. As Hiruzen simply chuckled. Well, that is beside the point, Jiraiya-kun. And as then you can say he speak up. Well, definitely Kakashi must have taught him something and some jutsus here and there. Obviously, right? After all, he is the you can say his sensei, and he knows a lot of jutsus. As Hiruzen simply sighed. As he said, well, I have been asking Kakashi how the training was going after Team 7, but whenever I ask him, he always praises that how great Sasuke is actually is and how he's a prodigy and will become a strong shinobi in the future. And I suspect that Kakashi is showing a bit of favoritism to Sasuke. As Jiraiya raised an eyebrow, are you sure about it? And have you asked Naruto about it? As Hiruzen sighed, the kid is pretty you can say trust you can say he always trusts people too much, and I simply did not want it to you can say jeopardize the relation which he had with Kakashi. As Jiraiya simply sighed, he could understand a little bit, but he must have a talk with Kakashi. But then again, there is a possibility that Kakashi will you can say that how Naruto is not you can say ready to be a shinobi or something like that. But then again, he would have a talk to with Kakashi definitely. Flashback ends. As while on the other hand, all the participants were present except Sasuke as well as Naruto. As you can say Janma started to look around as he looked towards Hiruzen, who's nodded and decided to give his speech that how these are the chunin exams and things like that, how they are great, and you can say well, etc. And you can say after that, finally Janma speak up, alright, all the other participants may leave except Neji, Hyuga and Uzumaki Naruto. As they simply nodded, while on the other hand Neji had an arrogant smirk on his face as he said, well, it seemed that loss had decided to accept his fate. Well, at least he knows to accept his fate, and you can say preach how the fate is so great and things like that. I'm not gonna go into that. As Janma simply sighed as he started to look around. Uzumaki Naruto, I will ask you the last time. In 3 seconds, if you are not here, you will be disqualified. As there was silence in the whole arena as Hiruzen was wondering where the kid actually was, as well as getting a bit nervous, wondering if Orochimaru has gotten to the kid, then things would not be, you can say, pretty for the future. As just about, you can say, Janma was about to say he was disqualified. Suddenly, you can say whole arena started to get heat up as a you can say small tornado of you can say flame started to surround a specific area, and then it vanished as Naruto was standing there. He had a you can say hoodie who had a you can say design of flames with orange flames as well as stream of you can say orange going down to his you can say upper hoodie, and you can say a bit of jacket and things like that. He had black pants as well as black hoodie as well as you can say orange lining going through it, and designs of flames. As Naruto looked towards Janma with a serious expression on his face, he has his headband tied to his arm. As most of the people whistled a little at the entry, even Janma, you can say, was pretty surprised. Not many Jonis can do such type of sunshine. As he simply looked towards the kid up and down, it seemed that the kid has finally decided to, you can say, change his wardrobe. Well, that is good for him. As Neji looked towards him with a you could say small glare, but did not say anything. As Janma spoke up, you're just on time. I was about to disqualify you. As Arthur simply looked towards Janma with a small smile as he said, well, you see, you can say I got lost on the road of life. As there was dead silence among the Jonin, even you can say Hiruzen face planted a little as Jiraiya burst into laughter. As Janma looked towards the kid and blinked a little as he said, you know what, I don't care. Just start the match. As he looked towards both of them. So, are you guys ready? As Neji simply nodded. As Janma said, alright, I hereby start the first match of the Chunin exam. Hajime. As after saying that, he jumped away. As Neji looked towards Naruto. So you have decided to show your face here, huh? You should have accepted your fate as a dead loss and loser long ago. But it seemed that I will have to teach you a lesson about, you can say, fate. As Naruto simply looked towards Neji with a bored expression on his face. Are you done preaching this fate about your... Because I have better things to deal with, kicking ass and taking names. as Neji glared towards him. Huh, just because you think that you have changed your clothes, your heart shot, huh? Well, you're nothing but a dead loss. While on the other hand, I am a prodigy, a Hyuga genius. As Naruto simply started to yawn. Are you done? Because, I have better things to deal with. As Nachi finally had enough of this, as he said, alright, you asked for it. As he activated his Byakugan, as Naruto made a single hand sign, as 5 clones suddenly appeared, you can say, all around him. As he looked towards the clones and nodded, as he simply rushed towards Neji. As Neji simply smirked, well, the shadow clones are not gonna work that much, as the clone tried to attack him, but he started to move all around them and decided to show off his, you can say, greatness, as he started to move with several palms, and within a flash, he has already hit all 4 of the clones with a smirk on his face. As Naruto simply gave him a small friendly smile, as Neji, you can say, was a bit confused, but then he noticed with his Byakugan, the, you can say, gathering of a lot of chakra all around the about to disperse clones as his eyes suddenly widened, as well as many of the Jonin as a blast occurred, sending Nechi flying, but he was able to save himself just in the nick of time with a, you can say, well-placed substitution, but a part of his, you can say, back was badly burnt as he gritted his teeth, trying to, you can say, subdue the pain in his body. As Neji gritted his teeth as he glared towards Naruto, who gave him a, you can say, small smile, a mocking smile, as Neji narrowed his eyes, just a lucky shot. Do not think that you have achieved anything from this, dead lost. As Naruto simply smiled towards him once again, he had, you can say, his smile kept intact as Neji was getting angry because for him it was an insult that a dead loss has been able to, you can say, caught him off guard. Well, nothing like that would ever happen any time soon as he glared towards Naruto and decided to rush towards him with pretty impressive speed as Naruto simply smiled and once again several shadow clones appeared as Neji said this time it will not work as he rushed towards them and decided to you can say throw many shurikens. To his surprise, they were normal shadow clone as he narrowed his eyes. As Naruto was still smiling towards him, Neji finally had enough of this as he rushed towards Naruto, Chakra coating his fingers as he smirked. Well, you're already in my range of divination. As he was about to release as all the palms, suddenly he, you can say, noticed that Naruto's body glowed a little as a bit of chakra surrounded his body as Naji simply smirked and he think that just because he has strengthened his body with chakra, he can actually, you can say, deflect my attacks and things like that. And he simply smirked and released all of his attacks towards Naruto. But to his utter surprise, the moment his fingers touched Naruto's clothes or his body, as suddenly you can say his finger was about to be engulfed in flames as he quickly moved his hand, both of his arms away, as he noticed that his hands were badly had, you can say, first degree burnt, as he looked towards Naruto in utter shock. As Naruto looked towards him, well, quite interesting. For a eye, which claims to be all-seeing eye, it seems that I have found a weakness to the Byakugan. At this, there were several gasps could be heard, while on the other hand, the head of the Hyuga clan narrowed his eyes, as Naruto simply smirked. This time, he spoke up. You can see someone molding chakra, but you cannot tell what type of chakra they are actually molding. If it is a, you can say, nature chakra, or if it is a nature transformation chakra or normal chakra. After all, you guys only deal with normal chakra, don't you? You cannot tell the difference between how I am molding my chakra, do you? As Neji glared towards him, that was a glaring weakness of the Byakugan, though not many people have been able to see it because of their claims of, you can say, having seeing eyes. As he glared towards him, how did you do it? As Naruto simply pointed a finger towards him and started to move it in a childlike fashion. Now, Neji, we do not tell our secrets, do we? As Neji glared towards him, this does not change anything. You're still a dead loss and I'm gonna win this. The fate has declared me the winner. As Naruto simply sighed and started to shake his head. Now, Neji, that's not the way how it goes. After all, what good are you now, huh? Both of your hands are badly burned. So, you can say Jukan is out of the way. Well, you can always do the rotation, but then again, it is just a defensive and a bit of offensive, but mainly defensive technique. And even for that, you would need a lot of chakra. As Neji eyes widened as he said, how do you know that? As Naruto simply smirked, well then, A ninja's greatest tool is deception, and not many people know it. But ninja's greatest tool is also information gathering. As Neji eyes widened at that, now he remembered when he was training alone in a you can say secluded training ground as well as practicing his kaidan. As while on the other hand, main member of the Hyuga clan member eyes widened as they looked towards Neji. They could not believe it that a branch member could actually use rotation. And this kid has already figured out a weakness of the Byakugan as they were glaring towards Naruto. As while on the other hand, Hiruzen raised an eyebrow. To be honest, he never knew such a weakness because to be honest, there was always so saying that taijutsu and things like that. So not many things known about the Byakugan even if they are part of the whole Konoha as Neji simply glared towards him as Naruto simply sighed, I'm gonna end this. As Neji said, if you think so. As Naruto said, guess what Neji, why don't we end it? You release your best technique, your best defense and I will release my best offense. Let's see that which is actually stronger. As Neji simply smirked, well then, I have already told you the fate has declared me the winner. So let's see about it. As Naruto simply smirked as he started to run towards Neji as Chakra once again coated his body as many of the people were shocked to see that fire you can say was surrounding Naruto's arm as well as his feet as Neji simply you can say looked towards Naruto and said alright rotation as he started to rotate as Naruto simply smirked and suddenly you can say whole chakra started to you can say change shape in Naruto's arm as the you can say flame started to turn orange as Naruto started to move even faster and then suddenly a kick an upper kick was slammed into the dome of rotation as there was visible struggle in both of the attacks as suddenly both Naruto and both Naruto as well as Neji let out a scream of you can say defiance and resistance as a blast occurred as sending both Neji and you can say Naruto flying in the opposite direction as smoke was covering the area as all the participants who were watching this were at awe. As seeing the battle, even Hiruzen was surprised. Never in his life as a shinobi he has seen someone doing something like that. He has heard rumor about the Forte Jinchuriki could do something like that, covering his body into you can say lava. But this was different, a lot different. As you can say as smoke started to clear as they saw that both of the participants were slammed into the opposite side of the walls as Neji was you can say was bleeding all over his body and then most of them saw suddenly Naruto simply step out of the wall as he looked towards Neji, not even a scratch on his body as Neji was glaring towards him as blood was leaking from his mouth as he said, how? As Naruto simply smiled. For your ultimate defense, it is not all that strong, Neji. As Neji gritted his teeth, but before he could say anything, as Naruto decided to use his most ultimate dangerous jutsu, Taku no Jutsu. So he decided to give Neji a speech. Neji, I already know about, you can say, what actually happened in your life. I know about the secret of the Hyuga cage bird seal. As there were several gaps in the Hyuga member, not many outsiders know about it. And I've also known about the incident that happened in the Como. And let me tell you something, Neji. Our life is in our hands. If you really believe that the fate has been, you can say, decided, then why do you use the 8 trigram 64 palms? Is it not the technique of the main branch? Why do you use the rotation? You say that the fate cannot be changed, but in the end of the day, you are the person who is trying his hardest to change his fate. Because if fate was such a thing, you would have never been able to become a prodigy and never would have been able to, you can say, use such techniques as the main branch. Because does it not your fate to be declared as a, you can say, side branch member with no talent and no power, but let alone you are here being a prodigy. And it is a lesson to you. And is it not my fate to always remain a dead loss? And here I'm standing after defeating you, and trust me, when I say it, I'm gonna win this all. Even despite being a dead loss. As Neji was simply looking towards Naruto, you can say, a small part of him was, you can say, finally relief and free as he looked towards the sky where a small bird was flying. And finally, after saying that, he was knocked out as Janma was looking towards both of them with awe, but nodded nonetheless, giving Naruto a small smile as he said, alright, the first match has been decided. The winner is Uzumaki Naruto, as there were several cheers. And some of the Hidden Leaf Village members were also cheering, but some of them were still angry, but still looking towards the kid and looking towards him with a new light in their eyes. But yeah, guys, here I will have this part. Hope you guys enjoyed it. For the next part, you guys already know the like goal, which is gonna be 300 likes. But I have already told you 100 likes and 50 comments. Do that, and I shall upload the next part as quick as possible. So yeah, guys, please subscribe, and peace.